The whistle at Rockfield Manufacturing was older than Tom Walker himself. When it blew at 5:30 a.m., it shook the small town awake. Dogs barked, windows rattled, and hundreds of boots started moving toward the gates. Tom was always among the first. Lunchbox, thermos, prayer in his heart. For 32 years, that whistle was his heartbeat. He used to joke, "I don't need an alarm clock. I've got a factory that screams my name every morning." But behind that joke was pride. The kind of pride that only comes when your hands earn your living and your conscience stays clean. Tom's father welded parts for the same plant. His grandfather helped lay its foundation when the town was still dirt roads and rail dust. 3 generations of Walkers kept America's engines alive. The walls were blackened with grease, the air thick with iron dust, but Tom never complained. "These machines feed families," he'd say. "Mine too." He learned every sound those gears made, the steady hum of health, the sharp click that meant something was wrong. He could fix problems before the engineers even noticed them. When Tom came home, the factory smell followed him: metal, sweat, and oil. But Linda, his wife, never complained. She'd meet him at the door with a towel and a tired smile. Linda ran a tiny grocery on Main Street. It barely covered rent, but it kept the family afloat when Tom's overtime checks ran late. They'd built a life on small sacrifices. She sold her piano to buy Mike's first semester books. She pawned her wedding earrings when Jenny needed braces. She worked Sundays while everyone else went to church, so the store could stay open. When neighbors asked why she never took vacations, Linda always said, "Because my husband's shoulders already carry enough." At night, she'd sit beside him while he fell asleep mid-sentence, whispering a silent prayer that his back would hold one more day. Years of noise stole part of Tom's hearing. Years of weight bent his spine. He had scars on his palms where hot shards once landed, a permanent burn on his forearm he never even treated. Still, he showed up every single day, not because he loved pain, but because he loved purpose. Mike once told him, "Dad, nobody even knows your name outside that factory." Tom smiled. "They don't need to." "The things I build know it." Jenny remembered tracing the calluses on his hands and asking why they were so rough. "Because life's smoother when your hands take the roughness for others," he said. Those small lessons welded themselves into his children's hearts. It was a July afternoon. The heat outside matched the furnaces inside. A spark leapt where it shouldn't have, onto an open barrel of solvent. Flames erupted faster than shouts could warn. While others ran for the exits, Tom ran toward the fire. He heard 2 new hires trapped near the press line. The smoke clawed at his lungs. The heat peeled his arms raw, but he forced open the jammed gate with a steel bar and pushed them through. Minutes later, the firefighters found him on his knees, coughing, burned, but alive. When reporters came, he just said, "They'd have done the same for me." But everyone knew they wouldn't have. Not the way he did. For weeks, Linda bandaged his arms herself. Every night she rubbed ointment into his scars, whispering, "You scared me, Tom Walker." He laughed softly. "You married a man who wrestles machines, Linda." Fire didn't stand a chance. She wanted to tell him how afraid she was, of losing him, of losing everything. But she just kissed his hands and said, "Then promise me you'll live long enough to rest someday." She never asked for jewelry, vacations, or luxury. Her happiness was seeing the lights stay on, the fridge full, and the kids' shoes not torn. Her sacrifice was quiet, but without it, none of his strength would have survived. 2 years later, the company announced automation. Machines were replacing men. the irony not lost on Tom. They offered him a small pension and a thank-you letter. He packed his tools, touched the old press one last time, and said, "You and I grew old together, buddy." As he walked out, the workers lined the aisle. No speech, no music, just hands clapping for the man who had never missed a single shift. Linda stood outside the gate with a homemade banner. "We're proud of you, Tom." He smiled through tears. For once, he let her carry the pride. Retirement didn't mean rest. He spent mornings fixing neighbors' lawn mowers for free, teaching teens how to use tools safely, and repairing the town's playground swing because kids need something that lasts. Mike, now a mechanical engineer, often visited the plant that had replaced his father. He'd touch the control panels and whisper, "Dad built the hands that built this." Jenny finished nursing school and told her patients, "My dad's scars taught me how to care for pain." Every dream they chased carried a fingerprint of Tom Walker's calloused hands and Linda's quiet endurance. On their 35th anniversary, Linda found a framed note hanging above Tom's old toolbox. It read, "To the woman who held the house while I held the hammer, you built me stronger than any machine I ever touched." Tom. She cried, not from sadness, but from gratitude. She finally knew he saw her, every long night, every sacrificed dream. America isn't held up by towers or titles. It's held up by people like Tom and Linda Walker, who trade comfort for commitment, who turn ordinary days into quiet legacies. Their hands built the machines, their hearts built the future. Because this nation's greatest strength isn't in its steel or engines, it's in the people who never quit. This is the heart of America. This is the America